Welcome to today's video where we're diving deep into one of the hottest investment topics of 2024 gold. With rising economic uncertainties and inflation fears, there's no better time to explore why adding gold to your portfolio could be the smartest financial move you make this year. We'll walk you through everything from understanding why gold prices are skyrocketing to tips on how to safely invest, and even the best gold funds to consider. If you're looking to protect your wealth and create a secure financial future, stay tuned because this video will give you the insights you need to make an informed decision.
The price of gold has been surging recently, so there's renewed interest in buying it. But how do you do that? And putting FOMO aside, why should we buy gold in the first place? In this video, we'll look at 6 ways in which you can invest in gold. By examining the advantages and disadvantages of each approach, I'll help you choose a way of investing in gold that might be right for you. Remember, if you do enjoy our content, please do like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's start with what gold is and what gold is not. The reason for that is I think there are many misconceptions about what gold provides and its essential value. So let's start off with what gold is. And I think that something which is definitely true is that when there's a huge shock in markets, when stocks are falling, bonds are falling, and there's a huge crisis, gold usually holds its value.
The stage is set, and gold is on the rise in 2024. Economic uncertainty, inflation fears, and global turmoil are driving more investors to gold than ever before. This clip gives you a snapshot of why gold's value is climbing and why this year could be a game changer for those who take advantage early.
In fact, if you look at the volatility of gold, it's kind of similar to a global stock index. Now let's think about what gold isn't. It's often stated that gold is a good inflation hedge, whereas if you actually look at any commodity, it'll track inflation over the long term. Because anything that's useful, by definition, will have to track inflation. If it lags inflation, it'll become super cheap. And if its price growth exceeds inflation, then it'll become super expensive. So I think one reason not to buy gold is as some kind of inflation hedge. Stocks usually are a much better way of beating inflation long term. And then the final point, which is related to the point about crashiness and volatility, is that gold is not safe, certainly over the short term. So if you have a huge allocation to gold, then it's not going to be a safe investment. If you've got to pay a house deposit in a year's time, say, you'd be crazy to put all of your money into gold waiting for that deposit because it could crash. I think it's also useful to look at the long-term return of gold and compare it with stocks and bonds, but also inflation. Here you can see that comparison over a 150-year period. Now notice that before 1970, the price of gold was linked to the value of the dollar. Then in 1970, the price of gold was allowed to float freely and it surged in value. But if we're thinking about long-term return, notice that stocks are by far the best investment, followed by bonds and then followed by gold. It has beaten inflation over this period, but usually you just expect it to track inflation.
Gold has always been seen as a safe haven during turbulent times, especially when inflation starts to erode the value of traditional investments. In this clip, you'll learn why gold remains a reliable way to preserve wealth when inflation is knocking on the door. This is why many experts, including Augusta Precious Metals, emphasize having gold in your portfolio. Known for its competitive prices on gold and silver, can help you secure your financial future by investing in gold.
You just have to trust the fund manager that they've done that and kept the records properly. And legally, you can see that they say in the fact sheet that the issuer has direct and sole ownership of the gold, which is stored in secure accounts. Some funds will tell you where it's stored in case you're worried that it's in another country. How much of that gold are you entitled to? Well, it's just your proportion of the fund. So that's called the metal entitlement, which you have as an owner of the fund. And then finally, the value of your holding depends on, obviously, the price of gold. They call that the gold spot price. And that's usually calculated according to a standardized index, minus any fees which you're being charged by the fund manager. So physical gold is good if you're very paranoid about not trusting fund managers and you don't trust paper gold. But personally, I prefer the liquidity, the ease of holding things like gold funds. Plus, if you have a gold fund, you can hold it inside an ISA or a SIP, or indeed outside an ISA or a SIP in a general investment account. So I think it gives you the greatest flexibility. Now, people often say to me, what's the cheapest fund to do X or Y?
Not all gold investments are the same. In this segment, you'll get guidance on selecting the best gold fund tailored to your investment needs. Whether you're looking for a low-risk option or something more aggressive, knowing which fund aligns with your goals is crucial.
And with each one, we'll think about the benefits and drawbacks of getting exposure that way. And we'll start with physical gold owned directly by you. So here we're talking about buying the shiny yellow stuff such that you can actually touch it. Now you can store it at home. Of course, that's risky because if you get robbed, you'll lose your investment. Another way of doing it is to store it in a depository or maybe in a safe deposit box, but of course that incurs a cost. But one of the benefits of physical gold, at least in the UK, is that if you buy bullion coins from the Royal Mint, they're exempt from capital gains tax. Now that only applies to UK residents, and that's because of the gold coin's status as legal British currency, as you can see here on the Royal Mint's website. Now some people just love the idea of physical gold that they can touch because they don't trust fund managers to keep it safely. If there is some kind of world-ending event, then at least you'd be able to hold that physical gold and not worry about electronic systems not showing you're the owner.
Buying physical gold requires due diligence to avoid costly mistakes. This clip dives into how to safely acquire physical gold, from choosing reputable dealers to ensuring authenticity. Investing in physical gold can add an additional layer of security to your portfolio.
Now, time and time again, he finds that in back tests, incorporating some gold into your portfolio is a really good idea. That's despite the fact that when you take it on its own, it is very crashy and its return has been very poor. Whereas if you actually mix it with other investments like stocks and bonds and other commodities, it actually adds a lot to your portfolio. In fact, what he found was, for the best portfolio in terms of safe withdrawal rate globally, gold made up about 30% of that portfolio, a pretty sizable allocation. And he personally uses a beautiful metaphor. He says, do you like salt on your food? Can you eat an entire box of it in one sitting without getting extremely sick? Same concept. So on its own, gold can be toxic, but when it's mixed in with other assets, it can provide diversification for your portfolio and improve your outcome over the long term. So now what we're going to do is to go through these different ways in which you can buy gold if you choose to.
This final clip emphasizes why having gold in your portfolio is more important than ever. As you saw earlier, the economic landscape in 2024 is unpredictable, making gold a must-have for diversifying your investments and protecting your wealth. In 2024, investing in gold isn't just a smart move. It's a necessary step to safeguard your financial future. This video has outlined the reasons why gold is surging and how you can position yourself to benefit from it. Whether it's through a reliable gold fund or buying physical gold, the opportunity is there for those who act now. Secure your financial future by diversifying with gold. Consider Augusta Precious Metals for your investment needs. Click the link below to learn more. Like, subscribe, and share this video to keep others informed about the critical steps they can take to protect their wealth in 2024. Don't forget to check out our other videos discussing about gold investing and silver investing. Leave a like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.